All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get this started. Welcome to how PPC is used by affiliates. My name's Newhouse. I'll be the moderator. And we're going to try and make this as interactive as possible. We're not going to do a whole lot of talking. We're going to take some questions. I have one of these wireless mics. We're going to have a good time. And one of the things that we want to make sure is that you guys get as much out of this as possible. So start thinking of stuff that you want to ask. We have an incredible panel today. We've got some really, really talented people up here. They're going to go through and they're going to introduce themselves. And together, I mean, they've made and spent millions and millions of dollars online using pay-per-click, cost-per-click advertising. So I'm going to let them kick that off. Before we do that, does everybody know what pay-per-click advertising is? I mean, show of hands. Is anyone that doesn't know what pay-per-click advertising is? Don't be, okay, great. So we're going to, what's that? That does not know. Okay, good. So we're all on the same page. These guys can give some brief introductions. So guys, why don't you introduce yourselves, talk about a little bit about what you do, and then we'll kind of get into the meat of things.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Lori Weiman. I'm the director of KeywordMax. KeywordMax is a pay-per-click bid management tool vendor.
I'm Kevin McCormick. I run a website, dresskevin.com. It's been a very interesting experience for me. I started it last August, and I get about 15,000 people a day coming to my site to pick out what I should wear. Thank you.
I'm Vinny Lingham from a company called incuBeta. We're an online marketing technology company, and one of our main business lines is a company called Clicks to Customers, which is paid search affiliate business.
All right, so Vinny, why don't you kick off the next one? Okay. Talk about how you use pay-per-click advertising specifically, and get into as much detail as you can, and then we'll kind of go down the row.
Okay, so what we do is pretty much, we're very similar to an agency as such, but we're performance marketing based, so we really believe in our technology and our processes and our people, that we're willing to market for clients on a risk basis. And we get offers from companies like Commission Junction. We take them off, and we actually work closely with the clients and get ideas of what their business is about. In fact, it's almost identical to any way an agency deals with your business, except that we're willing to put our own money into the engines on the basis of hitting your target business metric. It's as simple as that.
Kevin?
Well, for me, I'm on the publisher end. So for me, like my website started kind of as just a hobby, and then it quickly blew into a business. I never had advertising on my website, and then when I started with Google AdSense, I really just put the basic code up there, and I got some decent results. But very quickly, I realized that you need to work very hard to find the best placement for all the advertisements on your site, pick the right color schemes, pick the right type of ad unit to go for. Like, for example, for me, the link units did not work very well at all. Banner advertisements worked very well. And I saw a triple in activity when I changed my color scheme. That's a triple. I used to get, I don't know, like let's say $30 a day in advertisements, and that went up to 100 plus a day just by changing the color scheme. Something simple like that. So I use PPC mainly to fund my website, pay for its costs, and plus for my own salary.
And for us, with KeywordMax, we represent advertisers, both agencies, merchants, and affiliate marketers who are using pay-per-click. And we provide them with 4 different services that they can use through our system, which is keyword research, automated bid management, where we automatically help optimize bids based on things like CPA goals or ROI goals, tracking, and we also track fraud. So a lot of our clients use our system to look for fraudulent click activity on different search engines and then try to obtain refunds through the engines.
All right, so the first question, does this stuff work, guys? I mean, can you make a living doing this? Does it make money? I mean,
Vinny can
I
jump
can
up
feel
and
that
down
too.
and say,
so Lori, go
yes, give me why. Trying to make it interesting.
Well, I mean, I'll jump in. I mean, we publish our sort of our financials, opening articles, etc. We're going to do about $10 million this year in commissions. So for an affiliate marketing business, it's not bad at all.
Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I can say just as a single person, it definitely has the capability to provide, for a complete lifestyle funding. I still work my 9 to 5, but I'm venturing into other sites now that I understand how the business works. It could easily replace or double like my annual salary just based on the activity that I'm getting. I really didn't see that coming, but it's definitely true, definitely. I mean, and that's just off of the PPC ads. That's not including any kind of referrals that I can get on my website through CPA programs or even individual campaigns that I'm working out, promotional or otherwise, with other companies.
Laura, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think we've got every side of this represented here on the panel, and you can make money both carrying the pay-per-click ads on a content type site, or on the other side, if you're actually selling goods online, you're going to benefit from pay-per-click advertising. It's very cost effective, super targeted, and our advertiser base is a testament to that. I mean, their businesses keep growing year after year. I have clients that I've been working with for the past 3 years that started out really small, and I've actually seen them grow just exponentially just from using Google and Yahoo pay-per-click advertising is their primary way they're driving traffic to their sites.
In terms of driving traffic to sites and generating revenue from sites, does Google own this market? I mean, is it even worth advertising on any other search engine? How do you guys feel about that?
Laurie's got the stats in front of her right there.
I know, I do. I have the stats. It's astounding. Yes, they do own the market, but you do have to advertise in every place else. But just the stats that came out just recently, Google has 42.7% of the traffic. They did $2.2 billion, I think, in the first quarter. Wow. So in revenues just for pay-per-click. So they definitely do, but then you really need to spread it out because you want to get traffic from as many different sources as possible and just see what works.
Yeah, and let me just say that on the publisher end, you need to find out which system works best for your site as well. I mean, I experimented on my site with AdSense, with Yahoo, and with some other more conventional programs like through FastClick. And you just need to find, in some cases, the traditional programs may work better. In some cases, the contextual programs may work better for you, like AdSense. For me, it was a no-brainer. My site is extremely contextual. It's almost all clothing. People coming to my site are coming from search engines, searching for just general clothing terms. But in other cases, it might be a site where people are coming to on a very regular basis, all organic traffic. They might be more open to, the free iPod type ads or something like that, which doesn't work as well for someone like me.
Yeah, I don't think you need to go past the top 4 or 5 engines out there. I think there's so much that's not covered with your campaigns in those engines. I'd recommend, obviously, Google. MSN I've launched. There's a lot of opportunity there. Yahoo's been around for a while with their engine, but they're launching Panama soon, their new version. So spend more time in the top 4. I mean, you cover the top 4. Ask MSN, Yahoo, and Google. You're covering 90% of the market. There's no point spending half your time trying to cover 10%.
Right, that was my next question, which was the second tier engines like FindWhat and Miva and 7Search. Are these worth even spending any time on?
And I think Vinny pretty much covered. You're going to cover 90% of the market in the top 4 search engines, but those other ones are so inexpensive that if you just want to dabble or test and you've got some resources to do it, you might as well, because you may find some benefit there. They're really inexpensive engines to market on, penny a click type things.
For small advertisers, if you're a small advertiser with 5,000, 10,000 keywords, maybe 20,000, absolutely try. Once you've reached the capacity of your keyword list on Google and Yahoo, then start looking at the smaller second-tier engines. I mean, just for example, our average campaign is about 1 million keywords. Our biggest ones are like 6 or 7 million keywords. And for us, we're so busy working Google and Yahoo and MSN, we don't have time to go and try and even bother loading them into 7Search or Miva because, well, firstly, they have a problem taking that size of keyword list.
Oh yeah, if you got a question, hang on, let me.
Specifically with Ask.com.
Yeah.
They already get traffic from Google, so if I'm on Google, I'm getting into Ask. So, but they're trying to get me to advertise on Ask too. So, is there a benefit to doing it on top of being in Google already?
Okay, so with Ask, what happens is you've got. So Google, you're competing in a marketplace with 250,000 advertisers, and the most expensive ads typically are going to be the ones that syndicated out to them. On their marketplace, they've got fewer advertisers, but they do allocate slots to those advertisers on their search engine. So you're going to get the same. For example, you could get position 3 from them at a lower price, at a substantially lower price than number 1, because the number 1 spot is being auctioned off by 1,000 advertisers, and number 3 was being auctioned off by 20, for example. So there's a cost benefit of going direct. And also if you're not getting number one on Google, then you're not, or number 1, 2, or 3 on Google, you're not going to be able to get your spot. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So because they only syndicate the top spots in Google to ask, you're not going to be able to get the lower spots if you're not there. So the moment you fall out of number 1, you're not going to get into the number 3 spot. It does pay, yeah.
Let's talk about bidding for a second. The big question that I've had, as being a merchant and having also been an affiliate is, do you guys find that some of your competitors are complete morons? That they just completely overbid stuff, they're not making any money, they're driving up the cost, and you sit there and you wonder, how could these people possibly be spending this money? Is this an issue for you guys?
I can weigh in on that because I've seen that with some of our clients in the legal fields where it's just more of an ego thing, where you'll see, this is just a funny situation, you'll see 3 bidders on a keyword, so spots 1, 2, and 3, and the third place bidder is bidding 10 cents a click, and the first 2 are competing over $15 a click. So It's like this gigantic gap. And yeah, I would say moron.
Vinny?
No comment.
Is that allowed?
Well, you know what? The thing is this. What I have noticed is you've got to remember that every site's got a different conversion rate, and every single business out there has got a slightly different business model. It's probably not the same as yours. So given the amount of variables that are in search today, if a site, your competitor can convert twice the rate that you can, he can pay twice as much as you can. And it doesn't mean he's being a moron. It just means that he knows something you don't know. And so price is all relative to conversion. So unless you have inside information as to what your competitors' conversion rates are, calling him a moron isn't quite appropriate.
But it's
You
funny.
got a little rise there, didn't it? Guys, any questions at this point about anything? You know what? I think it's quiet enough. You just stand up and talk loud. We should be fine.
I haven't been on there in a while on Google, and I was bidding on a keyword where I knew there was no AdSense on it, and I put it in, and I went for a low bid, and they made me pay 50 cents a click, and I was just wondering, is that common, or did they change the rules, or?
Yes, so on Google, there used to be a minimum bid that was the same for every single keyword. And they've changed that rule, so now there's a minimum bid that changes on a keyword-by-keyword basis. So sometimes, strangely enough, you'll find that there's no one bidding on a word, and you go in to bid on it thinking that should be a 5 cent or even a penny keyword, and they won't even let you into the word for less than 30 cents or 50 cents, and it seems to be common.
Well, so the question is, why has Google chosen to do that? The latest announcement Google put out last week was that they were increasing the minimum bids for certain sites which didn't meet their quality score guidelines. So a lot of the sites, I'm sure you've all seen it, when you're searching Google and you type in some very generic term, car name, you'll see someone advertising that car on a site called best4sites.com or something similar. You land on the page and there's just 4 blocks of AdSense. And you're like, okay, well, let's just click back and go search again. Google's trying to do away with those sites, those click arbitrage sites. They find them to be, they're very annoying to the users in terms of the research they've done, and it's not good for the advertisers either. So Google's, in order to eliminate the arbitrage, Google's applying the landing score algorithm to the ranking and saying, well, these guys would have to pay more, and they're basically effectively removing any arbitrage opportunity for these companies. So that's really why they're applying it to the, I'm not trying to be a big Google supporter here, but I do believe that they look after they got the user in mind. The end user is their customer, and that's what they worry about, and they've said it time and time again. So, as much as it irritates all of us when we see our minimum bids go up, or whether or not they're getting it right, they're trying to make it better for the end user. So, just got to go with the flow.
Okay, and speaking of this, like CPC arbitrage, do any of you guys utilize any kind of CPC arbitrage in terms of using CPC advertising to generate more CPC advertising on your site? Not the way Vinny explained it, but Kevin, do you use CPC advertising to drive people to your site to generate revenue from CPC advertising?
Recently, I guess I didn't mention this. I do have a second website, which is called mydrobe.com, and that is an online wardrobe management application for people, mostly like younger girls, to go on and add their clothes, and they can keep a database of everything that they own. But on that site, we also utilize both AdSense and a lot of CPA campaigns through like Commission Junction, Link Share, et cetera. We do do some bidding on some very common terms to get people to our sites, just to get them to come back out either through the ads on our site or on those referral campaigns. In our case, we generally feel that we're providing extra value. We're providing reviews of the articles that people are clicking on, and you can see like other people who owned a particular piece of clothes. But we really are doing that in general. We're really just getting people onto our site just so they leave eventually. I mean, that's the revenue model for the site, is so that they come on and then leave. In other cases, I mean, I'm sure you see a lot of those sites where it's just, you know, a click in and a click out, and it's a waste of your time as a searcher. So, but I mean, we use it, and I think we justify it. But for anyone else who's doing it, I would strongly suggest you do the same thing. I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, that's what we do.
Well, for us, 90% of our business is direct linking. So we link Google ads directly from Google to the client. And generate sales that way. The other 10% we do work, and we are getting more work done in the shopping comparison sector, where a lot of it is CPC, and we're just driving traffic from Google to pages where there are items for comparison, and the users can click through, and that's typically on a CPC basis. But there's distinct value add in that perspective, because you're moving from a text-based page, which is Google, to a graphic page linking, you know, relative to the keywords that were searched on. So there is value in that.
I would just add to that, I see that a lot of times, actually, what Vinny was just talking about, where the shopping comparison site situation, they bid on a low-price keyword, Google, and traffic goes to their sites where they may have the exact same advertiser list that the consumer had seen on Google, displayed again, but with graphics and a little bit more information, and then a higher CPC. So they're making money because they may be paid 5 cents a click for the consumer to enter the site, and they're getting 50 cents a click to send traffic out to that same list of advertisers.
It's actually just a filter. It's actually good for the merchants, because if you go and bid on a keyword like Sony, you're going to get just really unqualified traffic. But if someone lands on a Sony page and there's laptops, cameras, phones, whatever the case is, just a dozen items, and you're able to at least take half of the traffic or 30% of traffic and filter it out better to the different products the user was actually searching for. That's effectively the sort of arbitrage we do and a lot of companies do, because there is value in taking very generic, broad terms of Google and filtering through into the right places. And that's really how you can make money.
Any questions? Let me give you the mic. Hang on.
I have a question regarding the recent changes in Google, where they're particularly clamping down on bridge pages, and this is pretty common among affiliates, where, you know, that the 1 URL rule. So a lot of affiliates started making very simple landing pages, where the primary intent was to click through to the merchant site to get around and then have your own URL. And also Google is now rewarding sites that have multiple pages versus a single landing page, with a higher quality score in the ranking. So just considering those two, I'd just like to see the thoughts of the panel, like how they're going to affect pay-per-click, especially Google AdWords.
Well, I think in regards to your second question, the best thing to do with something like that is make sure that your site is designed so that you're using rewrites. I mean, that's basically the bottom line, so that you have unique pages for every. Are you familiar with how rewrites work? Like using like PHP rewrite or ISAP rewrite?
I don't think that's a question. Sorry.
Is that what he's getting at?
No, okay. So I think the question relates around more to, sorry, Kevin. It's more around to whether having single landing pages on a URL versus a whole site built out will give you better quality score with Google, which results in lower CPCs. Am I correct?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
the second part of the question. The first part of the question is, now that because a lot of affiliates are using bridge pages, so now Google's cracking down on them, and it's totally changed. It's going to totally change the landscape. And I just want
You know what?
some comments on that.
Okay, so what Google's trying to do, they're trying to make, obviously, from a lot of the reports that are out there, that Google's CPCs have sort of leveled off and they're not getting any growth in CPCs. Prices have been high, and there have been a lot of affiliates out there, and a lot of merchants using affiliates to just blanket a landscape with one-page sites. So, you find that one keyword converts really well, you want all 8 positions to be yours or your affiliates, and then they just basically blanket it with one-page sites, and there's no real content or value. So what Google's doing right now is, and it's not inconceivable. I mean, these guys have got 1,000 PhDs working search. So what Google's doing slowly, more and more, they're taking the PhD guys who have been working on, the engineers working on the algorithms out of natural search, and they're now applying it to paid search and saying, hang on, if we can automate the value to the user on the natural side, we can apply that to the paid side and give a better user experience. And they're applying those algorithms more and more to paid search. So yes, they are going to apply, they're not kicking people out, they're just charging higher prices. So if you really want to have your one-page site there, that's fine, but your minimum CPC is now 5 or 10 times higher than what it was a week ago. And from what I believe and from what a lot of people have discussed in many forums, Google's going to be using stuff like the PageRank, etc., and all the algorithms in their PageRank formulas to actually apply to the PPC side. So potentially, sites who have good page ranks will get lower CPCs in Google AdWords.
Wow, that's actually really interesting. So the best strategy would be to hybrid strategy. Have a site that's SEO optimized, that you have a significant content, real content on, and then drive PPC traffic to specific pages that are designed to convert, but have that in the framework of a larger site.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what Google doesn't want is they don't want, and they're targeting networks. So, the different affiliate networks, they've actually got databases of the link service, their ad service, and they, when they detect too many of these links on a page, they flag it, and then the manual editorial process back there. So when the manual editors look at it, they flag it. It does something to the quality score. So you've got to be careful about having too much weighting around, paid sponsored advertising on a page.
Any other questions about this particular topic? Hang on, I've got somebody in the back. I get to you.
As a merchant, there's a situation with no direct linking to our merchant domains or our clients' domains, and it's common, especially for super search affiliates, to want that. And so when you can't offer it, it's great conversion for them. It's a good opportunity for the merchant. Do you have any workarounds for that? Is there anything you can do? Anything like repurposing data feeds to build, simple landing pages, or is it kind of an either/or? If you want that direct linking, if you can't get it, you're not going to work with that merchant.
It's a question for me again. Okay. Okay. So first of all, trying workarounds and basically taking content from data feeds and pushing them out. You're duplicating content first of all, so that's the first flag up. And secondly, you're trying to circumvent Google. Don't do that. The question I've got for you is why is direct linking such a problem for some merchants? And I think it's just a matter of I think Adam Venus said it quite well yesterday in yesterday's session. When Google released the affiliate policy, it was a knee-jerk reaction. Everyone said, "Oh, hang on a second. Google only wants one URL. It better be mine." The number one common misconception is that if two advertisers for the same display URL are on a keyword, that they will push each other's price up. The price isn't based on the number of people in that pool. It's based on the final ad that gets displayed and how it ranks relative to the other advertisers, not who else was running an ad for you. It's the same as having a keyword in an account with 5 different ads. Whether you have one keyword in an account with 5 different ads or 5 different affiliates with that same keyword running an ad for you, it's the best ad that gets displayed, the best, not the worst. So you can only go up, you can't go down, and that ad gets displayed at the price relative to its competitors when it's actually displayed on the page. Now, that's a very common misconception around the way Google works. So, I hope that clears it up. You can't lose money by having your affiliates there. And the other thing is search affiliates. The Google discount. I'm not going into the algorithms right now, but potentially your search affiliates can take higher positions for lower CPCs because they've got better click-through rates, they've linked to the better page in your site, they've done a little bit more work on the ad copy, and they can take higher positions. Now, you need to look at your search affiliates and your search engines as the same channel, okay? Whether you're paying $20 to us and we're paying $18 to Google and we're giving you more traffic, or you're paying $20 to Google and they're giving you the same or less traffic, doesn't really matter. It's one channel. You want to extract maximum value out of the channel and maximum results, maximum sales, whatever your metric is, you want to get that out. So don't try and split the channel and say, well, we'd rather pay Google than pay these guys, because they're ultimately going to pay Google a cheaper amount. If they're getting it, it's not affecting your business. It's going to show an incremental increase in it.
I absolutely agree with what you're saying. It's generally not the affiliate manager that is restricting it. It's somebody higher up because, especially larger merchants, they want to own the search. And what's annoying and what's frustrating to me is the super search affiliate
It's actually an education process that you have to go through to let people know about it. You've got to basically educate. One of the problems I have, and I'll say it openly out here, is that agencies mislead advertisers and the management around this. We work with some agencies who are fantastic, and they do search, and they also manage the affiliate process. And what they do is they inform management, listen, we do search, but it's better to have, we only have 50,000 keywords, and these guys will put another 75, and overlapping we'll probably have 100 unique. It's better to have that extra 25,000 keywords being bid on than only having our 50. It's really about finding the right partners to educate the management teams of your companies so they drive what's in the best interest of your business, not the companies that you pay money to.
All right, next question.
I hear a lot of broad statements that affiliates can do this the best, and that's just the way it is. I mean, Chuck, it seems like your message can kind of be boiled down to advertisers can't do what affiliates can. Why should advertisers feel bad and say, well, gee, don't advertisers have the right to want to have that competency that you have, the super affiliate who does search? What's wrong with wanting to have that as an internal practice?
I think that they're focused on controlling what they think they're buying traffic. They're able to buy everything that's available instead of looking at conversion and actually improving sales. And I think it's an ego thing.
Well,
They have on the real estate. To have a merchant say, I need to buy 250,000 keywords, get every possible variation, and have their whole IT staff focused on.
so they can't do it, but you can. Only you, the affiliate. And Vinny, if you'd like to comment on this as well, I'd love to hear from you. You can do it better than they can. Period. No matter what is what you're saying.
No, I'm talking from the age.
It should only be but it should only be your.
Up to affiliates that are actually pros at that and say, okay, let's kind of break it up and let you work on these different segments and see what your conversion is, instead of saying they're absolutely restricted from our program. We have to do search and only search.
Oh, what you're talking about is banning affiliates completely from search. You should always have affiliates at least helping you experiment in search. That's your.
Right.
Okay.
And I've had programs where some of the search affiliates were number 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
So why compete against yourself? Let the affiliates do it because they're only paid on success. So why should a company put so much resources and money and overhead into trying to control that? And I just think it's the ego.
Okay, I can recognize that perspective. I think that makes sense. Yeah, and I wanted to offer one comment to the room or to the panel with regard to the change that just came out, the gentleman in the front, with regard to the quality scoring of landing pages. Any thoughts as to what that could do to companies, public companies like Marchex, any of these folks who are in the park domain business? I know there are a lot of people at the conference walking around who are in the park domain business. I would think Google would score those as a low quality experience based on that. Any thoughts on that?
Explain what park domain is.
Well, a park domain, as an example, meaning camcorder.com as a landing page itself that someone uses Google or Yahoo search to drive traffic to. I mean, that's what park domains. That's how park domains make money. So, yeah, how is that?
Okay, very good. Go for it, guys.
Sorry, guys. So with the park domain issue, a lot of it's moving towards being a contextual platform. So Google's quality score is not impacting the contextual network as much as it is on the search network for various reasons. And they'll roll it out later on. But at the moment, I don't think the impact's going to be that high on the contextual side of the ads. So on the park domain side, from what I understand, that those ads are contextual ads. They're not search ads. So, yeah, I can't say. In theory, it shouldn't in the short term, but Google can change that.
I got one for you guys. How has the sort of the trend where merchants and brand names start to restrict, the affiliate's ability to bid on them, and how has that impacted your businesses? What's been the ramification of that? How do you feel about that? What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, we have, as a part of our tool, we support both merchants and their affiliates, and we do have some merchant clients that want to restrict keyword buys where they say, okay, this is a list of restricted words, you can't advertise on these branded terms, and others don't have that kind of a stance, and it really depends on their goals. I mean, they may have a branding goal and they don't want anyone diluting a brand on a certain term, and that's why the merchant has created these restrictions. If they're creating the restrictions simply because they want to own that particular keyword, that's probably not the best strategy, because you really want, as a merchant, you want to maximize the value of search. So you want to get, there's only so much traffic that's going to come through a pay-per-click ad, so much that's going to come from the organic side, and so the more real estate you control, the better it usually is for the merchant.
Yeah. So, what are the? Sorry.
Vinny, did you want to say something?
Yeah. So, Kevin.
No.
Okay. So in terms of the branding, I'll mention a trend that I've seen in the past years. The trend is actually a year ago, every merchant out there was, okay, we own our brand, stay off, don't even think about it. And this year the trend's been, we'll give you brands. One of the problems with the brand is, and studies have been done, people and merchants are losing business to your competitors on your own brand, because their SEO guys are optimizing the sites better, they're targeting your keywords, they've got their affiliates going and bidding and on your brands and having ads. You're losing customers on your brand. So, you know what? Mobilize a workforce of affiliates who are going to go out there and work hard. They're going to build good sites. They're going to take the brand traffic. And you know what? In recent months, the branded keyword traffic the ROI is not much different to some of the keywords, 5 and 6 keyword phrases down the tail, which have great ROI as well. So it's not like you're giving away much. And just for example, some of the deals we've worked out with merchants involve capping the ROI. So anything over and above that would pay back to them when we disclose that in live reporting. So, you know, the creative ways of getting around is, and you just need to understand that you're trying to protect your brand and your customers. And people searching for you, you don't want them going to a competitor. I mean, that's crazy. And 90%, I'll bet, of all the customers who search on a brand are repeat customers. So now a repeat customer who knows you, comes back to you, and he clicks on a competitor, you got a good chance of losing that customer.
I know we've got some questions about this.
I actually wanted to talk about display URLs. And the use of display URLs, it's becoming another debate similar to the branding, where there's a big fight between affiliates and merchants about this issue too. And I'm a search affiliate, and I use direct link also, and as much as possible use display URLs. And I've been getting more and more resistance from the merchants on it. So I wanted to know what you thought of that whole issue. And the other thing is, from the way I understand it, the original, the last rule that Google had, as far as only displaying one ad per display URL per search, is now going a step further. I saw this in an email that Google sent to somebody that I know, and what they said was that, if there's that Google is now looking at the actual destination site, okay, so that if I'm using a redirect and I'm going to the same place as another guy or the actual merchant using the display URL, then that is now treated as the site, one site. And I'm competing, even though I have a different display URL, I'm competing for the one slot available for where that site is, where that user is winding up. I want to know if you have any comments on that.
Okay. Sorry, what is the actual question? Just a clarification. I understand what you, I know what you're talking about.
I really want, you said that you doing $10 million using display URLs.
Yeah.
And are you concerned about, I see a trend with, the same way there was a trend that merchants were rebelling against use of brand names, I think it's the same thing happening with display URLs.
Okay, so outside the major search engines, who knows who's got the best in-house search knowledge and technology for any company? Does anyone know? Anyone has a guess? Out of all the advertisers out there, which advertiser has got the best search marketing technology? There we go. And what's eBay's policy on affiliates? Direct link. And why is that? There we go. Because they know that that's the way to go, because they cannot cover every single keyword, and it doesn't affect their existing campaigns. If it did, they would have shut off the affiliates long ago. And they're operating this in 20-odd markets. You know what the problem is? Most of the time when people look at stats and data, they don't have the right data analysts looking at the numbers, and they don't know how to slice and dice the data for trends, etc. So this happens all the time. You get a piece of data and you take an affiliate away, and they don't look at the other factors. Oh well, look, our numbers went up. Oh well, it's Christmas. You need to know how to look at the data, and you need to also look at the market leaders and what they're doing, because they're looking at the data very closely. eBay, Amazon, I mean, I can go on. Travelocity, Expedia, all the big guys who spend a lot of money on search are letting their affiliates bid on keywords, linking direct using their display URL. Okay, and you don't have to believe me, just ask them. I'm not.
Do you guys find that they're letting you, link directly, but are they letting you bid on their name? Does eBay let you bid on the name eBay?
Okay, so eBay is a good example, and no, they've had a policy against bidding on trademarks, but they've only instituted that in the past 18 months or so.
Could it be that advertisers in general are signaling, based on this gentleman's question, that search arbitrage performed by affiliates, broadly speaking, is of less value to them as they increase, to Chuck's point, they're increasing their own search activity? You
know what? The industry's so big that yes, there's some sector out there that's doing that. There are a bunch of advertisers doing that. But the overall trend really is companies are saying, is this our core business? Is our core business to work Google and the search engines? Do we need to have an in-house team focusing and trying to figure out what these search engines are doing every single day with their 1,000 PhDs? No. I mean, it's not your core business. Focus on what's your business. Outsource what's not.
Well, I think to my point, I think that's what they're saying. Is we want that more and more to be an internal competency, which is what I was referring to earlier. But it's coming in conflict with affiliate processes.
You know what? In every single sector out there, every single sector that you're in, okay, are all your competitors not letting affiliates? No. It's normally one or two companies that don't, and then the affiliates switch the traffic to their competitors anyway. So if you're not doing it, your competitors definitely are, and they're getting the traffic, and you just don't know about it. I've never found a sector where there's only one player in that market space, and every market space there's always some, there's some competitor who's willing to do it, and then they grow and they see the benefits of it.
Kevin, Lori, anything to add on the whole topic of this?
No, Vinny's the expert on this.
Yeah, he's really got it covered.
Good. Good job. Nice. Good job. Okay, totally different change of topic. This is something I've actually been curious about. Does pay-per-click advertising affect your natural results in search engines? I've heard yes, I've heard no. Is there any correlation?
I mean, from what I see, I don't know, I'm not going to speak to whether or not it actually impacts your ranking in the organic side, but but using pay-per-click is a really good tool to try to ferret out the good keywords then to optimize on for organic. So you can throw up a campaign on pay-per-click in a matter of minutes, see which keywords, quickly find the ones that are working the best for you, create a really narrow list, and then optimize your website organically on your best performers. So you can use pay-per-click as a helper to help you do better organically.
I don't have too much to say that. I mean, my site, the organic results are so incredible. I mean, my page rank is very high. So if you search for like Hollister shirt, like I'm on the first page. So I don't know. I mean, I can't say for sure. People always bid on my site, actually. They always bid for my name, and then they'll advertise off of that. So I lose traffic that way. But I can't speak otherwise.
So Kevin, you've seen exactly what Vinny just illustrated, that people use your name to drive traffic somewhere else.
Sure, and unfortunately, I mean, it's really just my business partner and I, working on this site. So we don't have the time to go after people. If they're bidding on my name, usually I don't care. It's usually just like a T-shirt company or something like that, trying to just steal some traffic. But I mean, I guess in the long run, that's really hurting the traffic that we're getting.
I think you bring up a good point, though. You don't want to rest on just one or the other, because the more real estate you own on the page, the more clicks you're going to get. So you want to be on the organic side and also be marketing on the paid side, because if you're not there, somebody else will be taking the clicks that you should have gotten. So you want to be in both spots.
Well, to answer your question, the paid search results on the major search engines, they will not impact the rankings. On the smaller search engines, they might not figure it out and just give you a rank because they think that the link goes there. But on the major search engines, there's no impact, direct impact. However, sites will pick up and they will see and people will see your ads, and they could go and visit your site and then write an article about it or do a blog on your site, and give, just through branding, they'll give you some exposure and direct links. But no, the actual link itself won't impact it.
Right. The paid site isn't crawled, so it doesn't have anything to do with it.
Okay. And now what I want you guys to do is like, what's in your bag of tricks? One or two things that you can share with the audience that have actually improved your conversions or improved the effectiveness of your advertising. Kevin, both, for you it would be on-site, for you guys it would be off-site. Like a tip, a trick, something these guys can take away.
My big pointer is pay attention to the match types, especially with search. Broad match type on Google, that's going to get you more impressions, probably lower click-through rates and less quality traffic. Exact match, you're going to get less impressions, but probably more qualified traffic, so pay attention to the match types.
You know what, Laura, just explain what that whole thing means.
Okay, does everyone know what a match type is? Anyone not? Anyone not know? I think everybody seems like they know, but broad match means that somebody puts in a search term into Google, a consumer, and if you're bidding on any word that's in that phrase, your ad's going to show up. With exact match, the exact keyword phrase that you're bidding on has to be what's typed into the engine in order for your ad to show up. So it makes the traffic more qualified and more directed to you if you're bidding on the exact match version of the keyword or phrase.
And so your advice is to...
My advice is just pay attention to the match type. You have to track. So as much as you can track the stuff and try to figure out which one's working better for you, you want to do that. But the more you target, the more exact your match type is, the better conversion rate you're going to get. But you're going to get less traffic. So you have to balance that. Broad match will probably get a lot more traffic, but most likely a lower conversion rate. So you have to measure that, do the numbers, run the math, do the analytics, and see which one is making more money for you.
Kevin?
Well, I think on my end, one of the things I picked up on is that if you have a site that really hits, I guess, a lot of strange search terms, I guess like that long tail that is often referred to. I was just talking to Lori. I have a list of like 800 search terms that hit my site, like on the first or second page, and it's all random strange things. But the point with that is, I'm getting small results on each one of those strange terms individually, but together those terms are actually generating more traffic than the main terms, like clothes or my name or something like that. So what I've kind of learned is that as a publisher, it makes sense to invite advertisers to advertise directly on my site through something like Google AdSense and make it very easy to do that. And that's been an excellent option for branding opportunities. And usually an advertiser doing that is willing to pay a lot more than if they're just buying right on the search results. So I've had people who have put clothes on my site also buy advertising at the same time. It's very relevant for them. They're going to get traffic in different ways than they were going to get just through the search terms. And even if you're thinking about buying traffic on a particular search term, it might make sense to search first and then buy traffic on the sites on the organic side instead. You might find you get better quality traffic doing it that way.
From my side, there's a book coming out called The Long Tail by Chris Anderson. He's the editor of Wired magazine. I recommend that everyone here gets a copy. It seems like, I was at one of his presentations at eBay Developers Conference in Vegas, and it was an awesome presentation, and what he's doing in the book is fantastic. So read that book and try and adapt it to your existing business. And really, Google's a real poster child for what his business talks about, and that really it points to the diversity of traffic that you get from Google. 58% of all Google's traffic is international. So if your business is just focusing on the US, you're only picking up 42% of Google's total traffic. And if your business you can ship internationally, or if it's an information product which can be downloaded, and you're only trying to sell your product in the US, you need to broaden your horizons and use things like, foreign translated language pages, launch your campaigns using different languages, experiment a bit, but really try and tap into the global marketplace of 1 billion people, not just the US internet of 150 million.
Questions?
Do you mean that 42% of all Google.com traffic, or are you talking about Google.ca?
Sorry, actually, it's not the traffic, it's the revenue.
The revenue.
Sorry, I meant the revenue. 58% of Google's revenue is now coming from international.
Questions for these guys? In the back. Yes, sir.
I've got a kind of a philosophical question. Is there any kind of difference between a click on a search term that comes from natural search and a click that comes from paid search for a search term?
Do you mean conversion rate wise?
Whether the click is legitimate or not.
Evaluate the value of the click?
Yeah. have a search term, and if you have a search term and the customer comes through paid search or the customer comes through natural search, is there any difference in the value? The point that I'm getting to is that some merchants will control their paid search, but they will not control their natural search. And so the logic of what you're seeing doesn't quite compute.
And so specifically, you want to know
Why it is that they bother to control paid search? Is it just because they can?
I mean, when you say control, do you mean by preventing or controlling who can bid on what terms? Is that what you mean?
Specifically, yes.
I think I see what you're getting at. I think that's going to change over time. I think right now you're still dealing with a lot of people on the internet who are searching and are not seeing that difference between the paid results and the natural results, and they're just clicking on whatever seems to fit what they're looking for. But I think definitely over time, you're going to see more and more people becoming, I guess, sort of like blind to advertised and sponsored links. But right now, that's just not the case. But personal opinion, I mean, through personal experience, I will never click on a sponsored link. I will always go through, and I'm an internet advertiser, and I will never bother with them. I'll just look through the natural results. And I don't know, I think over time, you just need to be more careful.
Can I argue on that point of view?
Yeah. I have a point of view.
Yeah.
For example, I bought something from Red Envelope for a friend of mine for his son, and when I was searching for kids blankets, just newborn baby blanket, and the ad was newborn baby blanket on Red Envelope. I knew it's going to land on the right page. I knew these guys are watching conversions. I clicked the ad because I knew I was in a hurry. I want to get the product straight away, and I'm pretty sure that sophisticated users are going to use, and I've actually seen this through focus groups in our company. People who understand the business tend to click on the links when they want to buy something. They click on the sponsored link. If they're looking for free stuff, they go to the natural side. And I tend to do that. And I don't know how many of you do that, but we're seeing that more and more from the sophisticated user side. They know the difference.
I absolutely back that up 100%. We see the exact same thing. And when you think about it, if you're familiar with the industry, you know that when you search for something, the paid sponsored search results are probably going to have what you want because they're there for a reason. They're trying to make money off of this click. So it's a good chance that you're going to find what you need pretty quickly. And then on the organic side, to the gentleman in the back's point, if you're not paying any attention and your site just happened to get indexed and it happened to get indexed against that keyword, it might not even be exactly what you're looking for. So a lot of times you'll find on the organic side a lot of junk. And on the paid side you find exactly what you want, unless you're looking for free information. And then I think we find the same thing in our office and among our clients, doing the same types of behaviors.
You guys can look at your logs. You'll see how often do you find a page in the Google natural search results that's going to the wrong page for what you want. Because for some reason, on one page you're linking to another page, that keyword's present, that when the results come up, your users typing in a certain keyword landing on the wrong page on your site. And you can't change that. And that's why I think people will move towards using sponsored links more and more.
How you doing? Brian Junko, seatsremember.com. I sell concert and sports tickets online, and it's a very basic question. I'm new to the whole web marketing thing, so I kind of feel like I'm in preschool with a bunch of people with their master's degree. But I did Google AdWords about 2 months ago, and I read on when I was signing up, they recommend 15 to 20 keywords. But I was sitting there thinking, with concert and sports tickets, there's 30 Major League Baseball teams, 30 basketball teams, 30 NHL, NFL. That's 120 plus 119 college football teams plus countless other bands. So how could you possibly have 15 to 20 keywords? How can they possibly recommend 15 to 20 keywords for a pay-per-click campaign? I didn't understand.
It's probably what they're doing is making a general recommendation to someone that's very new. But if you have that many product SKUs that you're trying to sell, and Vinny talked about this, where he says he's got millions of keywords. You need a keyword that's going to represent all of the moneymakers for you. So if you've got, if you're selling batteries and they're only $2 for a pack of batteries, obviously you're not going to bid on that. But for keywords that are generating concert tickets for the Rolling Stones, you're selling $300 tickets. You know, you've got a market on every city for every concert that they're doing.
You think?
A little bit, a little bit.
Can I give a word of advice in general? Don't chase keywords. Okay, don't go after one particular keyword if it becomes unprofitable. You need to know your business metrics. You need to work out what your average conversion rate on the site is, what your average expected earning per click is, so what are you going to get expected back on average, and you've got to bid up within a reasonable range of that number. And if the price in the market cannot sustain your business's current conversion rates and what your product offering and your business model, don't change keywords. Rather go and find new keywords, like you said, go and find alternative keywords. But one thing, leave the keywords there at that price. If you can only pay 30 cents or 40 cents, leave it. Even if you get ranked at position 30, you'll get 1 click every month. That's fine, it'll add up. And over time, Google might decide that, hey, listen, this ad's got 5 clicks out of 5 impressions. It's got a good click-through rate. Let's move it up a bit. And eventually you'll find, a settling point. But don't chase keywords because you're going to get burnt. Don't just rather focus on having a bigger keyword base. Spend your time building your keyword base out than focusing on trying to be highly ranked on the keywords which you think have got high volume and high conversions. They might not be for your site.
All right, and we've got time for one more question.
Hi, Mike Evans from Traffic Junction in the UK. Excuse me. I just want to know what the panel's take on geotargeting is within Google and the accuracy of it. We don't find it very accurate in the UK, but may do in the US. I was wondering if you could give me your thoughts on that.
It's only going to be as accurate as the data that they're getting back from the users. So, it's more accurate than not doing it. But a better way to do it would probably be to use the city name or the actual location name in your keyword. So if you're trying to market in Orlando, Florida, then you want to say Hilton Hotel Orlando, Florida. Would get you more targeted.
The UK is actually an interesting marketplace. So the number of dynamics at play there is you've got AOL, which is a big service provider in the UK, and all the IP addresses run through the US. So although you think you're getting US clicks, you're actually not. It's actually UK-based customers, so don't let that fool you. The next thing is, so when you're setting out your campaign, you need to realize that people typing in google.co.uk, they're searching for something UK, regardless of where they're from, the ads are going to be displayed. Google's marketplaces are such that if you go to google.co.india, .in, and you search, you're going to see the ads that anyone in India would see, okay, regardless of where you are in the world. So they've built their marketplaces out in such a way that if you're at the subdomain level, you'll see the ads. So there's no way of actually preventing. Excuse me? Sorry?
More targeting to a state.
He's talking about instead of targeting as countrywide. That's why if you want to target.
Trying to do granular geotargeting in the current environment and the internet, the current technical aspects of it with AOL doing what they're doing, it's not feasible. It isn't, because if you were to exclude Texas from your US campaigns, you'd lose 18 million users. So I wouldn't do that, but I would look at your numbers and look at the conversions. Okay, if you see the US conversions are not coming through, there might be something suspicious. But typically, you're going to see that the US users do convert, and you're going to be wondering why, because they're in the UK. So don't stress about that. It's about the numbers about 20%, 25%.
And we think outside of AOL, if you take them out of the equation, it's geotargeting can be about 80% accurate just from our tracking system and the data that we're getting. But if, like I said, if you want to get really granular and down to the city or down to a region, like a very specific town, putting that in your keyword phrase is going to get you there.
Okay, in the last couple minutes, what I want you guys to leave everybody with is, what's the future of cost per click marketing? Where is it going? What's happening to the price? Are there going to be new opportunities, fewer opportunities? Kind of like a little crystal ball.
Wow, you're first.
Okay, so Kevin, here you go.
I just really see this evolving greatly. It's a very new industry. I can't say for sure what will happen, but I think you're just going to see relevance continue to improve. It's going to be a lot more difficult to sort of sneak your way into results without having something you're actually selling. But, I mean, that's just like a prediction. I mean, like the bottom line is that searching for things is so that people can find what they're looking for. So the people who are running these businesses are going to make sure that that's what they're doing. So that's just going to become smarter and smarter over time.
Yeah. So those of you who haven't been following the local Google press, Google's released CPA ads for contextual, and so for AdSense. So you can actually bid now on a CPA basis, and you can pay only when it's a success. There are a number of problems with that model, and the biggest issue is going to revolve around the publishers like Kevin. They're going to see their EPCs drop because, out of all of you there, when you do a CPA deal, let's be honest now, if someone says, hey, I'll do a CPA deal with you, and you give him the banners, do you ever really bother what he's up to? No. Do you bother to optimize the landing pages? No. You don't care. If it converts, it converts. If it doesn't, I don't pay. And the problem with that model, on the CPA model on the contextual ads, is that Google also doesn't have the background to it, and they don't understand how to make it work right now. They will get there, but right now I don't think the product's right there. It's issues like fraud. I mean, the amount of fraud issues around click fraud around contextual ads is high, and they think this is the way of beating it. The fraud's going to shift because they're worried about, in the past it was clicking ads and getting the if Kevin had to click his ads, he'd get money out of it. Okay, that's click fraud. Now, can you imagine this is a scenario? You're an affiliate and you're sitting in somewhere in Eastern Europe. Okay, and you're at home and you've launched a simple site and you've put the content targeting ads on. Okay, and then you go and click your ad. Okay, and you go and purchase with a stolen credit card. Okay, then Google pays you. And then the credit card is detected stolen. What happens then? The fraudsters are going to do stuff like this. They've been doing it to a lot of industries for years. I mean, I used to work in a different company, and this was happening all the time. Guys would use stolen credit cards to make purchases and get affiliate commissions. And then when the credit cards are detected as stolen, they'd still keep the commissions. You wouldn't see them again. So these are the complexities involved with having CPA ads. The onus of making sure that the sites convert, the relevancy is good. It's just the burdens are shifted too much to the publisher. Now they become responsible for this because the ads on their site, they only get paid on a conversion. So I don't see it moving from a CPA anytime soon. It's moving to CPA in a full swing anytime soon. They could probably get the model right in a couple of years, but it won't be for at least 3 years.
And here's what I see. For the cost per click model, it's working fine. Everybody's making money. Everyone in this room probably is making money on the cost per click model. The prices do keep rising, and it will get to a point on certain keywords where you can't afford even to be there. And then what I hear a lot from our customer base is that they wish that they could bid on search using CPA, and Google has CPA on contextual. So it would be nice if you had your option of how you would pay on search, CPA, CPC, impression, how the advertiser would want to pay. And then if we can get the search network smart enough, they can optimize for the most money, best paying terms for themselves, and put the advertisers up there, and then you can choose. Do you want to pay CPA or do you want to pay CPC? What works better for your business?
I don't see you getting any huge volume out of that as an advertiser. I don't see, because of the fact that now the risk is transferred. If you're not paying CPC, guys like Kevin aren't going to want those ads being displayed on their site, so the volume's going to drop. So I don't see it happening. And by saying, hey, we'll pay a CPA and someone else can bid CPC in the same market environment, the CPA guys have to wait a very long time to build up a track record before Google's going to suddenly let him start taking all the clicks.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what we see with CPA, because our company also does tracking for affiliate programs, is that, oh my God, I just totally lost my train of thought. Let me flip to a different idea, and then I'll come back to that one. So in the old days of the web, back in the late 90s, what people used to do is they would charge a slotting fee and a CPA on top of it. So you would pay some kind of a flat amount, maybe per click or per impression, maybe it's lower, and then a cost per action on top of that. And I could see that model possibly working here, where you come in and you say, okay, I don't want to pay 30 cents a click, but I pay 5 cents a click plus a CPA.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. So it's sort of a blended model.
That would work.
That'd be extremely ideal, actually.
That would work.
Yeah. So then Kevin makes money. He's guaranteed to make something. And then he may get a giant bounty, but the CPA has to be more juicy than what you would pay CPC because there's more risk, right?
Yeah, and ultimately, conversion is the best measure of user relevance. So, I'd like to see Google do that, but there are complexities involved.
All right, we are out of time. I'd like to thank our panel, and I'd like to thank you guys for coming.
Thanks, Corey.
Not bad.
Awesome.
That'd be a good model, wouldn't it? The slotting fee? And then
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Thanks. You did a fantastic job, Corey.
Good work.
Hi.
Sorry to steal your thunder there before.